Hey, Service Advisor Nation, welcome back to another episode of the AutoFix Advisor Cast with your host, Michael Doherty. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully everyone's in good health and all that good stuff. So today I wanted to talk about kind of offense and defense for service advisors, for vehicle check-ins, and also, them service advisors, sharing some of this information with technicians as well. I've obviously been more try to be more proactive than reactive in my career as a service advisor. And again, I want to talk about offense and defense for a couple things with vehicles, especially. So I think first and foremost, and again, we only have so much time in the day to do what we need to do. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing constantly. Phones are ringing, customers coming in, customers checking out, talking to technicians, checking in vehicles, checking out vehicles, test driving vehicles, ordering parts. Again, all of it. It's continuous, right? It's nonstop. But in that moment, especially when you're doing the vehicle check-in process, slow it down and spend more time doing the vehicle check-in process. And what I say by that is this. So typically, if I got a client that dropped off a vehicle and they're either hanging out in the lounge or they've, dropped it off and they got some picking up or they took a loaner car, or we got them a shuttle somewhere, I'm going out there, I'm snapping a pic of the VIN, snapping a pic of the instrument cluster with the car running, I'm going around the car taking various photos, wheels, body panels, dent stings, etc. But I think really important also is for cars, and I definitely encourage this. I've talked about this in the past. Get as many clients as you can to do night drops. I think it's really important because it maximizes your time with the vehicle for the next business day. From an efficiency standpoint, again, the car's already cooled down. There's not a rush. It's there, right? And you get there, you get it checked in. But coming from the offense side of things, when you're getting it checked in, especially that night drop, listen to it. Was there an extended crank? Was there a slow crank when you were starting that car up? Was there a squeal from under the hood, when you crank that car up on a cold start? When you move that car in the parking lot, cold start braking, was there squeaks from the brakes? Was it front? Was it rear? Was the suspension creaky? I mean, all things to, really kind of take in, kind of note, and most CRMs these days, we were using, um, uh, not Shop Genie, it was Shopware, and there was a tab where we could just put comments in the upper right hand corner for things, and I would share those notes with the technician. But if there was something, especially if I cranked up a car on cold start from a night drop, and there's a good 20-30 second squeal from under the hood, I'm going to take my phone out, I'm going to record that video of that noise, and I'm going to post it to that RO on that CRM, because you have the availability, you have the ability to do that now, which is really cool. And again, likely something the client's already aware of, but maybe they forgot to tell you about it. But it's a good bringing up point, right? And reason I say about that on the offensive is because it prepares you for the defensive. You know, we've oftentimes in the industry, we've worked on somebody's car and, you get the call back, hey, ever since you did my X, Y, and Z, now my car is doing this. Or ever since you touched this, now the car is doing that. And a lot of the times it really has no relation, but, trying to again explain that to somebody. But I've had people, we do a window regulator on a vehicle, the mechanical portion, not the motor, just the window regulator, right? The mechanical portion on a European car. Reset the adaptations for the auto down, one and up, and next day we get a phone call saying, hey, my sunroof isn't opening, it won't tilt, totally unrelated, but in their mind, hey, you were just working on their car. So again, kind of, again, just preparation for how to be, more, not have to deal with the defensive, right? But again, on the cold starts, especially, listen for noise from under the hood, anything that just sounds odd, take note of it. Really don't just crank it up, hop in the car, move it to the back of the parking lot, get out of it and start writing up the RO and putting the information in. Like, again, spend a little bit of time, the HVAC, right? I mean, whether a car is done a night drop or they've dropped off the morning of, with that HVAC on, most cars when they get in the HVAC's on, play with the fan speeds a little bit, turn it up volume 2, 3, 4, 5, and listen, right? Just listen. And a lot of times what I'll hear is it sounds like debris somewhere in the blower motor housing, like a leaf or a twig or just something that's caught in there, kind of like a almost like a playing card, like a king of spades or whatever, just a play, a ace of spades, a king, a queen stuck in a bicycle spoke. As a kid, you put those, on your bicycle spokes, going down the road and kind of make that, brrr noise. So again, just awareness, again, on the offensive, hey, I heard that. I wanted to make you aware of that, Mr. Customer. Is that something you'd like us to check into? It could definitely affect, your HVAC system, your fan speed's not working, or worse, it could do damage to one of the components. So again, awareness, bringing things up like that, suspension squeaks, again, cold start, braking in the parking lot, just anything that you're going to hear from that night drop check-in and, document. Also, what I was big believer in and still do is if I know I've got somebody coming in for an interior job, right? If we're going to be doing a heater core, if we're going to be doing a winter regulator, if we're going to be doing, a fuel pump. I'm not the high pressure fuel pump at the engine, but the one that's usually under the seat of a vehicle, the rear seat. I'm taking pictures of the interior before we start working on that vehicle. Again, on the offensive, offense, and I'm taking a picture of that door panel. Is it cracked? Is it loose? Is there marring? Is there nicks on the pull handle? Is there? I mean, again, you want to paint the picture of that stuff was pre-existing, because a lot of times, again, people will come in and they just don't know, and they're going to say, "Hey, you just had this off, and this is broken or that is broken." So again, again, we're trying to be, play more offense than defense. Again, take pictures. One thing that's really good too that I'd recommend is if you're not in the business of detailing cars when clients' cars are there, if you're just doing like a quick wash or something like that, that's great. But, buy some detailing supplies. There is a company online, it's just Chemical Guys, chemicalguys.com. They're always running specials. A lot of their products too, believe it or not, are in Walmart. And you can pick up, it's pretty cost effective, especially with the discounts they have and the deals on their website. But, get an interior pack, so microfiber towels, interior wipes, dashboard wipes, because, again, just cleaning the area and that the vehicle was worked on, inside is really important. And I mentioned that from a service advisor's perspective because you're kind of you're the last line of defense before that car leaves. It's your responsibility to go out to that car before the client picks up. Hopefully, you're getting and documenting ending mileage. You're just doing kind of a quick scan around. Was the service light reset? That I fill out the service booklet? But again, making sure, especially if interior work was done, no, grease prints, oil prints, stains, just make sure that it's a clean area and having the proper supplies to do that. Again, and invest in some detailing supplies, your company that you work with her for, and just get those on hand to take care of those, little things so that they don't become, like I said, where you've got to be on the defensive, just take care of stuff. And one thing that I found out recently, I took my wife's vehicle in to Jiffy Lube. It was on a Sunday. I just needed a regular state inspection on her Acura. And while I was there, they were doing the state inspection, and they said, "Would you like us to do a vacuum of the interior and just wipe down the windows for you?" And I said, "Oh, I didn't know you guys offered that service. How much is that?" They said, "Nothing. We don't charge for that." I was like, "Wow, Jiffy Lube is doing interior vacuums and wiping down windows." you know, Again, value, right? So, is your shop vacuuming interiors for clients? Are you wiping down windows? I mean, if Jiffy Lube's doing that, my gosh, we need to get on it, people. That kind of took me back. And to be honest, shame on me. I haven't been to a Jiffy Lube in a long time, but the place that I used to work at, we didn't do in-house state inspections. And the place that I usually go to get them done was not open on the weekends. So I just went to a local Jiffy Lube, but I had no idea that they did interior vacuum courtesy and window cleaning courtesy. So, again, something to consider in your morning meeting. Hey, are we doing that? If no, we need to be doing that. Again, providing value. Also, too, talk with the technicians, get them in the habit, try and get them in the habit. And again, everybody's got to be on the same page where we're trying to take care of the customer. Now we're trying to take care of the customer. We need to take care of the customer. This who is providing us paycheck. This is who's taking care of our families in a monetary sense, right? When we're serving, we need to help them. So, if again, technicians doing an interior repair or, something with an airbag connector, driver's seat is out. When the driver's seat is out, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff under there. And again, this is not necessarily for the service advisor, but for the technician. But again, for the service advisors to relay to the technicians, you know, take the time, do a quick vacuum. You're probably going to find some change under there, maybe a stylist, from a tablet or an iPad or something, pens, pencils. I've had technicians come up to me saying, "Hey, here's some jewelry. I found a necklace. I found, you know, a diamond ring." Yes, that did happen to me once. I had a technician come up and he had a ring in his hand, and it wasn't a huge rock, but it was a diamond ring. And I called that client and I said, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, just to let you know, our technician had the driver's seat out doing repair for your airbag connector, and he found a ring." And the lady was just blown away with the honesty, the transparency. Wow, I can't believe you guys found that and you're telling me about it. I mean, she was just, I don't know if it's a family heirloom or it was really important to her, obviously, but just, the joy in her hearing, oh my gosh, you guys found that. So don't ignore what's under there, catalog it, put it in a bag, something, but let the client know, hey, it's your stuff, right? And again, vacuum it out. Don't leave it all yuck. Just, help the client out. It goes a long way. And, show them when they pick up, hey, we vacuumed your car, we wiped your windows down, we cleaned the inside. I mean, just something. It has to be more than, just the connection of, they're coming in to fix their car. It's beyond that, right? We know that when that phone rings, they need something. We want to get them in. Again, the answer is yes, we can help you. We want to help you. Get them in. But it's got to go further than just working on their car. They've got to remember you. They've got to feel your value. You have to do something different to get their attention, to separate yourself from the other shops. So again, when I found out that Jiffy Lube is doing vacuums and interior window cleaning, my mindset went, wow, we weren't even doing that at the place that I worked at. We weren't. We had a gentleman that was coming after school. He was doing exterior cleanings for people's cars, and some of our loaner cars, but for client cars, us, I guess it was a fail on our part, and again, the methodology of like, why weren't we doing that? I think at a time we were, but we just kind of got away from it. But again, when a client's paying for a big repair, and they can't see the things that you've done, I mean, do something, vacuum it out, wash it, do something. But again, just coming from the offense, right? Pictures, documentation, again, awareness. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I cranked up your car on the cold start this morning and there's a really loud squeal from under the hood. I'm sure you've heard that before, right? Bring it up to them. We'd love to check that out for you because, it shouldn't sound like that. And typically when someone brings in a car and it's already warmed up, that noise isn't going to be there. So, again, just awareness, trying to help out, trying to, make mention of what you heard so you can explain it to them, documenting it, right? Documenting it in the work order somewhere in the notes section of whatever CRM you've got. So it lives in there. So it's a reminder. If the next person that works or is a service advisor on the car, they can go to the notes section or the technician can see the notes section. But again, just work together as a team, take care of the client. That's ultimately the right thing to do, the best thing to do. And, a couple things too, I don't think it would be a bad idea just to have trim clips on hand, especially for interior parts. There's a lot of places that just offer like a huge assortment, like a 40, 50 piece assortment of interior trim clips. Because I'll be honest, a lot of these cars, the plastic isn't great and things do break. But again, if you can have those things on hand to minimize downtime and obviously use the right tools, I mean, there are certain tools for certain jobs. Don't stick a screwdriver in there and try and wedge it. I mean, they've got, plastic, I think they're called bones from what I've heard from technicians before. Hey, I got to get a plastic bone or a separator. And also, again, for service advisors, when you're talking to the technicians about the interior stuff, ask them, hey, could you wear gloves, right? Could you wear gloves? We don't want to, get, stains and grease prints on the inside of this car for obvious reasons. And some technicians, they don't like to wear gloves. I get it. But if not, let's really make sure that their hands are clean. And again, as a service advisor, you're kind of the last line of defense when that car picks up. So, if you know the area of the car that was worked on, especially inside, do a really good visual inspection. And again, get some detailing supplies, some interior detailing supplies, microfiber, interior wipes, window wipes, things of that nature. Just can take care of the client's car. Think of it like if it was your mom's car, if it was your sister's car. Well, maybe not. If they don't keep their cars clean, whoever keeps their car clean, it's Jay Leno's car, it's Jerry Seinfeld's car, it's Chemical Guys owns this car. Let's take care of it. But team effort across the front. But again, coming from more trying to talk about the offense, right? What can we do proactively? How can we be on the offense, marching down the field toward the finish line, toward the touchdown, toward, just taking care of the client in all fronts. And instead of having to worry about be on the defense. So again, just think about those things. But Service Advisor Nation, another episode of AutoFix Advisor Cast. I appreciate you. Tune in next week, and I hope you keep your bays full. I hope you're taking care of your teams and yourselves, getting those clarity breaks, and keep kicking butt. Do your thing. Be original. Take care of the client, and love what you do.